Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening wherever you are in the globe. It is your darling program, The Comrade and Friends, a segment of The Comrade Show. Today, the 24th of November, 2024, we are back on your screen again. And today is very important because we shall be zeroing mainly on Edo State. Our dear Edo State has witnessed something seismic. Only the 12th of November, exactly 12 days ago, a new governor took the saddle, taking over from Governor Godwin of Basaki. And you agree with me that a new spirit, a new dawn, and a new awareness has been ushered into Edo State. There have been appointments, there have been decisions, there have been dissolutions, and there have been talking by all our people. Today we shall be looking at the Okpebholo administration, which is just 12 days old, looking at what he has done and what the future portends for our dear Edo State. Like Komelante would always say, a better Edo State is a signal for a better Nigeria. Do not touch that die. Join us. We shall be right back. Oh, yes. Welcome back, my people. Here in the United Kingdom, the cold is back and winter is gradually drawing near. There's been widespread snowfall across the northern part of United Kingdom, of England. But in London, it is relatively calm. But I must say that the temperatures are really coming down. In some points, really -0, even up to 1. But anyway, that's the story. I have with me in the house today the CNC of the Comrade Show, Komelante Kponsa. Komelante, our viewers who want to see you, can you greet our people cacabolically?
Thank you very much, Comrade Pharmacist Austin Eremira. Yes, Nigerians across the world, greetings to you all, particularly Edo State people. Please don't go away. Stay with us and do well to share this broadcast, invite friends, and let's talk about the new Edo State that is on the horizon. And of course, a lot of issues are already, of course, emanating from the stables of the new governor of Edo State. All of this we shall be looking at. Stay with us. Thank you very much. Over to you, Pharmacist Irendera.
Thank you so much, Komelante. It's always good to be with you. Doing this with you week in, week out is really gratifying, encouraging, and of course, because we do this for Edo State, what greater service can you ask? Welcome, my brother. And like Komelante said, please, viewers, ladies and gentlemen, friends of the Comrade Show, we are going to open the lines immediately because we want to get as many of you talking and giving comments on the topic we want to discuss today, which is indeed Edo State. So the line will be open immediately. Please feel free at any point in time to ring in and let us know what your thoughts are and your view. And like I said in the intro, today is just looking at Edo State and the new government of Senator Monday Okpebholo, who was inaugurated November 12th, 2024, making it exactly 12 days from today. And wow, this man and his deputy have begun to change the face of Edo State by his decisions, his appointments, his governorship utterance, and I dare say, what of? Many people are asking questions. Some are absolutely enthused. Some are feeling a bit not too happy. But I say generally, Edo State is witnessing something very great. And Komelante, just a one-liner on the inauguration. Did you watch it? How did that come to you? As expected, I was very happy. And I think the speech of the governor on that day really set the tone for what we are seeing now. Just a one-liner on the inauguration that happened on the 12th of November, 2024. Komelante.
Thank you very much. Yes, I think the inauguration again was a reminder for everybody that power indeed is transient. A year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, it would, have felt like Obaseki was going to be governor forever. The inauguration of Monday Okpebholo showed that yes, there comes a time to be elected or selected, as the case may be. There comes a time to be sworn in, and of course, there comes a time, for whoever is governor to pack his bags and leave the government house and usher in, another one. Unfortunately, it was not a glorious ceremony in part, in that sadly we had a new governor, being sworn in, and the presence of the outgoing governor was nowhere to be seen. I stand to be corrected, but I didn't see Governor Baseki anywhere around that particular event. I thought that was a very low moment in it, and it felt like the transition itself was probably not very cordial, particularly again from the things we heard, between both parties and all of that. And from the feelers we are getting, the matters, appear to still, I mean, they appear to continue to extend and all of that. That may not be healthy. But be that as it may, there's a new government in place now. Somebody else is Musadebe Avenue, and it is not Governor Baseki. It is now Senator Monday Okpebholo.
Yeah, thank you so much, Comilante. I love the way you put it, but I think many people will also disagree with you to say that the Obaseki government was fully represented. The reinstated deputy governor of the past administration was very present, and then there were videos that captured that. But I agree with you. I just wanted to put that into perspective to create a bit some calmness, this stuff.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
they say, really is very effervescent that they say in chemistry, it comes so quick and it goes so quick. The day you were born also mark even the day you will die. And like you said, who would ever thought that we'll be talking, sitting today and say Governor Gordon of Baseki is no more? But that's how it is. For people that hold positions, know that it's not for eternity. A time will come where you will leave that to move on to greater things, or to step down to move on to lower things. But Komelamte, as we are going to really zero into the 12th day administration of the new governor, I think it's very important. Only today, the chief press secretary of the governor, I think Honorable or Mr. Fred Itwa, released a statement. And of course, I think this is very important. I must commend the governor that all the nuances, all the wrong moves, whatever was taken away from the Benin Traditional Council has been restored. And the Oba of Benin has been restored and given all the full acknowledgement, which we know followed the last government. And above all the artifacts now belong indeed to the palace. I must say that action of Senator Monday Okpebholo, in my view, is very important, because that will bring peace, tranquility, and unity again to our dear kingdom, and by extension, our dear state. Komelamte, you made lots of broadcasts about this. We knew that things were going wrong, and we wanted it to be back. A new governor is coming, and he's put that right. How does this meet you? It gladdens my heart. What about you?
I must commend, Governor Okpebholo on this. I thought that it was the right thing to do. It was one of those low moments that we always refer to, that actually marked Obaseki's administration. You do not spoil or change or destroy the things that are not bad, that have not gone bad. There's been harmony, within the traditional, councils in those states. People know where the face is. People know where the nose is. They know where the ears are, and all of that. And all of those moves Obaseki made, for many of us, it was, we thought it was a slide, and not just a slide. It was even a slight on the Obaseki himself, because he seemed not to forget who he is or who he's supposed to be. So, that was one move that made a lot of people fall out of favor with him, to be very honest. And what Okpebholo has done is what you expect the proper son of the soil to do. The Benin man says, is to our son, I can ola. No matter how hairy you are, you will still know the lines, the partition between the face and the hair. You understand the what I'm saying now? So, trying to destroy, age-long established procedures that everybody has been following, has been respecting, paying obedience just because you are being vindictive, like can be easily argued. I thought was a low moment that marked Obaseki's government, and what Okpebholo has done, indeed, for me, is noble. It's a restoration, of tranquility, like you rightly mentioned. It's a restoration of orderliness, and it's a restoration of proper procedure. Uh, Edo asaw my door. Edo asaw my door. I can't remember that part, but I'll find a way to put it right. But what I'm trying to say in effect is that we must give credence, to procedural observations. The palace of the Oba of Benin, I mean, is everything Obaseki was doing was just, a storm in a teacup. It didn't actually, it only just, ridiculed Governor Obaseki. You understand what I'm saying? And of course, made him leave the government house, you know, almost in disgrace, to be fair, because he has not exited the government house gloriously. You would expect that if somebody does well, the person would exit in a glorious way. Obaseki's exit is not glorious. And what he tried to do with the palace and the kingdom was one of those things that marked, the very, black side of his own, government. This is the way I see it. And I think that Okpebholo's acknowledgement and the restoration of this procedural, observation, as it were, is of course, indeed noble. And I applaud him for that. And I'm very happy with it.
Yeah, thank you so much, Comrade Lamte. I think majority of Edolites and majority of people in Edo State will agree very, very, very well with you that Governor Senator Monday Okpebholo has made the right decision. And I will also want to say that, remember, I think in his first or second term, when Governor Godwin Obaseki has this very fine synergy with the palace, binding the way they bound some other stuff, we were moving in the right direction. Yes. We don't know what happened, but thank God it's been corrected now. We are home and dry. So Senator Monday Okpebholo, thumbs up for that. You brought peace and tranquility, because with that, being at peace with the palace, that will trickle around to all the other traditional establishment in the state, and that peace will flow seamlessly. I think that is a very wise decision by Senator Monday Okpebholo, the governor of Edo State. And somebody argued with me today that if you take over from a governor that has obviously failed, especially in interrelationships, if you try to correct those relationships, before long you become an hero. And I think Senator Monday Okpebholo is fast becoming hero of his 12 days of governance in Edo State, almost reaping and taking to cleaners all that Godwin Obaseki did wrong. I use that word, did wrong, because there are still some other good things that I think, in my view, that Governor Godwin Obaseki did well. But Comrade Lamte, let's go straight to appointments now. There are some other personal appointments that we cannot take away. One of the foremost appointments by the governor then immediately after he took office, or I think a day before, was the appointment of the chief press secretary, Fred Itwa. And Fred Itwa has been very busy doing his job. So those are all personal ones. We don't need to talk about that. But let's go to the nitty-gritty. I think Senator Monday Okpebholo, governor of Edo State, was very swift. There were a few, his very first appointment he made, announcing the Attorney General of the state, no other but my good friend Samson Osagie. I must have to make a disclosure here that Samson Osagie taught me government in WAEC extramural lessons in Okpebholo. So he's now the Attorney General of Edo State. He has been confirmed by the House of Assembly in quick succession to the appointment of the Commissioner for Health. Talking of Dr. Cyril Oshomole was announced. That has also been confirmed. I think in the last few days, the Commissioner for Finance has also been confirmed. There are so many other positions that would be filled as time goes by. The Secretary to the State Government has also been announced. And I think the government is already running compared to the second term of Governor Godwin Obaseki, where it took almost a year for this to come. Many more would happen. I believe in the course of this week, there will be more appointments to fill the position so that government will start running again. And also too, there's also appointment of I think some boards have been dissolved, the account of the Edo State government have been frozen, all other things being put in place, and some managing directors have been appointed. Only yesterday we got feelers that my very good friend, again, I think I'm somewhat a bit lucky in all this, my very good friend and childhood friend, my senior in secondary school, talking of Suleiman Alwede, often referred to as Sula Alwede, has been appointed as the managing director of Edo Broadcasting Service. That's also very important for Sulai because he started after we left secondary school to work in EBS before he gained admission to the University of Benin and then has blossomed in journalism and coming back to midwife Edo Broadcasting Service. I have no doubt in my mind that he is going to bring a bit of dynamism, uniqueness, because the world is changing, and I think Edo Broadcasting Service will witness the seismic shake. But that's just on MDAs. There will be more to come. But let's just focus, Comrade Lamte, on the appointment made so far, especially to run government. The Attorney General, Samson Osagie, many have said that is the right peg in the right hole. Haven't studied law and then he's worked as a legislature in the Edo State House of Assembly, proceeded to the national level and has done a lot of things. And also is also, I think, an ESCO member of the African Bar. So from that angle, it looks like a square peg in a square hole. And then, of course, the appointment of the Commissioner for Health. Some people have said that they've taken health very serious. Let's see, talking of Cyril Oshomole. I remember having a conversation with you after this appointment. I was worried, saying that why should the son of the governor come in? But you were very quick to say it doesn't really matter. What's important is that if they deliver and they know what to do. If it's right, if it's the son or daughter of any former politician, it doesn't really matter. We've also seen the appointment of the Commissioner for Finance. Ladies and gentlemen, friends of the Comrade Show, please pick up your phone and ring in as we begin to look and dissect the 12 days governance of Senator Monday Okpebholo. Comrade Lamte, I want your reaction to all these appointments that have been made.
Well, we may not be able to compare Okpebholo's first term to Obaseki's first term on appointment matter. But I thought that if we want to look at Obaseki's second term in office, I thought that his approach to appointment was very disappointing. Like you rightly, submitted just now, like you rightly observed, Obaseki's second term was spawning, particularly riding on that super majority, the support that the state people gave him. It took Obaseki nearly a year to begin to, fill the vacancies, of course, as far as government is concerned. He ran Edo State with his deputy governor and the SSG for nearly 1 year. And so when you look at the swiftness with which Okpebholo, has done what he has done so far, honestly, I give him kudos. He seems to me like somebody who came prepared. You understand what I'm saying now, and all of that. And we cannot jump into any conclusion right now, but on a very quick, assessment, I am very pleased. I think that's the right thing, to do. We cannot afford to allow vacuum, and so dissolving what needs to be dissolved and replacing, the offices with relevant, appointments and all of that. They are very key at this time. The other thing that people appear to be observing, which again, looking at our own kind of democracy, they will always come into focal point. I have not taken note of such observations, but some people appear to be observing that the appointments are a bit lopsided. A week ago, I saw a video flying around. Somebody from whether or one or so was complaining bitterly that they have not felt, that they have not had any appointment whatsoever. And of course, there are a number of other people from Edo South who are saying currently that apart from Samson Osagie, there has been no appointment, okay, given to anybody from Edo South and all of that. So all of these things, they are going to form part of the discussions because this is the way our democracy is wired. You understand the picture of what I'm saying now? Where people discuss what goes to different ethnic groups and all of that. But for somebody like myself, I am very keen on competence. If everybody in Okpebholo's government will have to come from Okpebholo's family, and they will work to make those states become London, honestly, rather that they come like that than to have, all those spread. Unfortunately, I say unfortunately, a lot of the appointments we see, they are still, more or less rooted around the same people that have had, if you may, very ugly history with Edo State by way of governance, as it were. The son of this, the son of that. You understand? We've heard names like that. I've probably seen a couple of persons who you would say have not really been in government. You understand what I'm saying right now? But for those that have had a history with government, they've always been at the corridors of government. They were only away right now for the past 4 or 8 years because Obaseki was there. And they are all now coming back now to besiege this government with their sons and daughters and friends and all of that. It again creates that skepticism. Will any good thing come out of Jerusalem? Even while we applaud that yet, the oil of the engine of government is being oiled to run. Well, will the people get the dividends? But again, that remains to be seen. It's just 12 days, about 2 weeks into his administration. Of course, but so far, I must call him very high in his approach. Again, I must also observe, that Okpebholo is sat right now as the governor of Edo State. One can easily observe too that he's sitting with, like somebody sitting on the edge of his seat as governor, because there's a case to be determined in court. The resolution from that, nobody knows, and all of that. And so, therefore, because I remember when Osareme Osumbo, was elected governor, and there was a case in court with Adams Oshomole and every other thing. Osareme was doing so many things. You understand what I'm saying? He was looking like he was going to be the best governor Edo State ever had, because the things he did in those few months before the Supreme Court made the pronouncement that Oshomole is the rightfully elected governor. You understand the picture of what I'm saying now? Osareme did much, but if what Osareme did that then was to just win the support of those state people, and looking forward to when Supreme Court matter would have been over to confirm whether he's the governor and every other thing, and all of that is the motivation, but it remains to be seen. But so far, on the face value of what is happening, we must salute the governor for his effort. It is what he's supposed to do, and I think those state people will be reasonably pleased that he's doing what he's supposed to do.
Yeah, thank you so much, Comrade Lamte, for that reaction. I must also say that this is why one worry. So, God forbid, well, I wouldn't say God forbid. We don't know what's going to happen. If Senator Monday Okpebholo is removed by the court, that would be another setback again for the state. And that is why we must call on INEC to do the needful. I am seriously against this, where governors take saddle or people take saddle in leadership, and they have to wait for the judiciary for another 6 months. That, to me, that's not very good. Everything about our election should be resolved before swearing in, so that when the governor takes over, he knows that he's in charge. And like you said, most of the things that the governor will be doing now, he will have one eye looking at the back. Yeah. And wanting to balance certain things, because he will not want a Fubara approach anymore. Given that, reading the article by Patutomi today, who says that our judiciary at the moment is in raffia bags, and when anything is in raffia bag, they get easily burnt. So it is something very, very, very difficult. We hope that we can get through with that, and when a governor takes over, he knows that yes, he's taking over and it's working, not waiting for 6 months. I believe
You
from
know,
a in due time we will get there.
yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, friends of the Comrade Show, it's been your darling program. We are looking at the 12 days of Senator Monday Okpebholo as governor of Edo State and his actions and inactions and his appointment and what is done to Edo State. We have something very important which I think we will dwell on today. But before that, Comrade Lamte, I just want to say a few things and also get your reaction on what has been happening in Edo State. Over the last 1 to 2 weeks, there have been massive court fighting, court killings, and the state appeared to be in absolute jeopardy. But I think Governor Monday Okpebholo has swung into action. On the issue of security and courtesan, Governor Komelante Araki, how would you rate the governor following the action that he has taken just now? And of course, if you have a word or two, like a form of advice to the teeming young people of Edo State who have taken this courtesan to yet again another level, that people are losing lives in their prime. Only this week as well, I think mothers of Edo State went to demonstrate at the Oba Palace just to express their concern. And like they always say, anything that happens in Nigeria when it comes to Edo State is always very different. And as you're answering that, I think the governor has also taken another very important step, because many people have complained. You have complained many times that things are very expensive in our market. And you always said to Governor Godwin Obaseki, why is it that things are not cheaper in Edo State and Edo State market? With the events of a few days ago, it's not clear why this has happened. The governor has also disbanded all forms of market groupings or market
Unionism.
unions, because that's also affecting Edo State and prices in the market. So as you attempt to answer this question, I just want you to whip it. Security, looking at his pronouncement regarding this incessant killing, court groups, and of course, the hike in market price following the action that the governor has indeed taken. How will you see Governor and Senator Monday Okpebholo action on these?
Anyway, first and foremost, I think it would be very premature right now to begin to rate Governor Okpebholo on the issue of security. The reason is because even when he was not governor, we have always had moments where the activity of courtists in Edo State will rise to a crescendo, and later it will subside. Even without any intervention for whatever it is. So that's one on one side. The issue of courtesan in Edo State and indeed Nigeria, I think it's a canker worm in our system. The Benin man says, the worm that is the kola nut is inside the kola nut. We are not ignorant. Edo State people majorly are not ignorant. A lot of the people that fuel, courtism and courtists or court groups in Edo State, most of them are in government, either in the past or even in the current government. You understand the picture of what I'm saying?
As alleged.
As alleged. A lot of them, will come out and talk about these issues during the day. At night time, they are holding meetings with the leaders of these same court groups. They are paying, obeisance and giving directives. They have used them, even in the politics, on campaigns. They've used them effectively to compromise elections. They have empowered them by bringing arms and ammunition from, wherever, you understand what I'm saying now, to use to ensure that people stay in power. So at the end of the day, when we are talking of this issue, it's almost like a waste of time for the ordinary man. Because if we must heal from the inside. The Benin man says, you cannot lay a fine carpet on death and expect that the death is gone. They are still there. And the thing has taken even, it has taken a more cataclysmic dimension, in that there are people who are courtists, as alleged, who have traveled abroad. They are now the ones sending money back home, okay, to young people to hunt down people they don't like their faces or they have issues with. And all of that, they are helping to escalate the issues. And meanwhile, these same young people as Curtis, as we speak right now, the guns and the arms they used did not fall from the sky. They were empowered. And it may surprise you to know that from information that we can gather, even though we cannot independently verify some of those information, it is the people in government today, the people that were in government yesterday, who procured those arms and ammunition and gave it to these young people. So at the end of the day, it's like a case of asking an armed robber who stole to help you look for what is missing. Meanwhile, he is the custodian of what has been stolen. I think that if the governor wants to address this issue, there needs to be a total cleansing, systemic cleansing. And in appraising this, there is the need to understand, first and foremost, where are the dots in this matter, and bring all of these dots together and have a parley, so that from amongst the dots, answers to how we are going to have a lasting solution will come from amongst them. Now, that said, there's also the need for government to, seriously take the issue of unemployment very and make it must be on the front burner. Well, if a lot of these young people are employed, imagine somebody who has to wake up probably in the morning, go to work, come back home at 5, 6, 7, is tired. That person may not have time to carry a gun in the night to go and be hunting other people around because this person is gainfully employed. I believe that if we have a level of employment that employs everybody in Edo State, we would have reduced this menace by a mile. You understand what I'm saying now? And to that extent, my advice for the current governor is to focus usually on agriculture. Agriculture in Edo State is going to employ everybody. Like you said, things are very expensive. Things will still be expensive if Edo State do not sit, government of Edo State do not sit down with Edo State people to look at Edo State, focus on Edo State, and govern Edo State like an independent nation from Nigeria. The reason why I say this is that Nigeria under Bola Ahmed Tinubu doesn't seem to be ready to make Nigeria better. It therefore means that it's a matter right now of to your tent, O Israel. It therefore means that every given governor right now, like Okpebholo right now, has the opportunity now, can engage those state people, make agriculture, the most important part of his governance, get everybody into that matter, make Edo State, feed Edo State people first and foremost before anything. Let it be that a bag of rice in Edo State is cheaper by 1,000 naira because of the policy of the government of Edo State on agriculture. Let it be that tomatoes is cheaper by 10,000 naira because of the policy and implementation of the government of Edo State. If we get this done, a lot of things, there will be a chain reaction to solving a lot of things. Then on the issue of disbanding, what's it called?
Market unions.
Unions and them. I think it's the right step in the right direction for now. While I also think that there can be unions, okay, regulated with proper guardians. I think it's necessary for there to be unions, but not unionism in any selfish interest of making the final consumers pay through their nose, but unionism in ensuring that the entire market structure is properly regulated, in a way that everybody benefits from. Because unions can actually give to society as well. You understand the picture of what I'm saying now? By coming together to say, okay, we are a Cattle Dealers Association of Edo State, for instance. Okay, we hold our meetings to know ourselves. You understand what I'm saying now? And to fight common problems that we may have. And of course, to equally use the platform to give back to society. That we are not seeing right now. The only thing we probably see now, the idea we have of these unions right now, is that some people just sit down there as lodgers or mama market, as the case may be, and exploit the traders. You understand what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, the exploitation falls back to the final consumers, who will now have to pay a little more for the things that the groceries they are buying. You understand what I'm saying now? And all of that. So at the end of the day, I think for now is the right step in the right direction. But I also think that the government needs to look inwards and set a proper modus operandi for the operationalism, or the operations of unions, if there would be one in across Edo State markets. Otherwise, so far it's a step in the right direction.
Thank you so much, Komelante. Many people would argue, just like you, that it's early days yet. But again, whether early or late, we have to begin to look at all the steps that the governor is taking. And like he's always said, from clap, now they enter dance. And far away go become cock. Now when they start the waka, you go know. So looking at all these steps, it shows that the governor is taking the right step, and hopefully if this continue well, then Edo State will be the better for it. Ladies and gentlemen, friends and viewers of the Comrade Show, with just over 36 minutes on the clock, we're trying to keep it within 1 hour, but we want to look at the pro panel set up to look at the activities of the last government. I must say that I think Governor Senator Monday Okpebholo was very clear. He did say that they were going to probe the last government. I think that, in my view, is good, fulfilling his campaign promise, or what he said he would do. But just before we go to that, Comrade Lamte, you were one of those that have cried. I know you've also compared the then Governor Godwin Obaseki to Governor Wike, saying that Wike has created lots of flyovers, even though there have been lots of issues to say that some of the flyovers that we have in Rivers State were not warranted. I am a strong Benin boy that grew up in Benin. And Senator Monday Okpebholo have just announced, in fact, we hear that they've already moved men and materials to site to change Ramat Park of flyover. Comandante, Senator Monday Okpebholo has akin to your call. Flyover is coming to Edo State. What is your reaction? Are we in the season of flyovers in Edo State? Please take it off from there.
Well, first and foremost, I have advocated, I've always advocated that the kind of conjecture that we grew up to know around Ramat Park was too much. And that there is a need for us to decongest that area. And so when the governor, Monday Okpebholo, made that announcement, I thought it was a good thing to focus on, because it will ease traffic flow around that area if they channel it properly. And apart from that, all the time they are going to spend, building these flyovers, as the case may be, people will be employed there, isn't it? And they will be Edo State people. So to that extent, I think economically and otherwise, it's the right thing to do. The only thing I probably may have issues with, because I don't know how they are mapping what they are doing right now. We cannot just build flyovers for the sake of building flyover. It has to be functional, it has to be useful, and it has to serve a very clear purpose. So he has said that he's going to site 3 flyovers in Edo State. The one around the Ramat Park, I thought that is well deserved. While I appreciate this move, I applaud the move, I am not over the moon, on the move. I really want to see this project materialize, as he has said. That is when I will be, yes, this is, because oftentimes we have heard people in authority make announcements, mobilize people to site. At the end of the day, some of the things that they mobilize people to site for, don't get to materialize. They will just be some political, statements You understand what I'm saying? And we saw with Obaseki's government, Kenwan Road, for instance, all through his administration was under construction, and he has left. Kenwan Road is unfinished. You understand what I'm saying? Now, though parts of it have been done, you understand, but I mean, how many kilometers a Kenwan road that we cannot do a Kenwan road, under an administration that will last for, beyond 6 years, as it were. And so I just hope that Okpebholo, under his 4 years first term, will be able to, get this delivered. If he does that, then I really will be over the moon, because it's a capital project, mind you. We cannot, fly over as such from the way I've read their manuscript. That's a huge project. If they're able to get that done, it's going to be a plus for Edo State, because it's going to be a functional project. Believe me, it's going to be very functional. And Edo State, Ramat Park area, sure do need this seriously.
Yeah, Komelante, you put in a very good argument for that. And just like you, I'm also slightly concerned. I think it was too much in a hurry. I think it's a gigantic and massive project. I would have thought that the government would have fully been on ground to give a full feasibility study and also look at the financial position of Edo State now before embarking on that. But what do we know? Maybe the governor has thought about it and has other plans. But what is important, Komelante, which you said, apart from the commerce that will generate an employment, you want to see it completed. So maybe Senator Monday Okpebholo is in a hurry. He wants to get it done within the first 2 years, because such project really can really last the lifetime of a 4-year administration.
Pharmacists, so I may disagree with you slightly on this. The reason is this, my brother. If the will of Udazi Akbama, God Almighty, says Lamte become the governor of Edo State today, I tell you, I'm not doing any feasibility study on the day of my inauguration. If at the moment it's been pronounced that I'm the governor-elect, I already know that one of the first things I'm going to mention to be done is a flower around that Ramat.
So we give it to
I would have done my homework even before assuming office.
Absolutely. So I think Governor Monday Okpebholo has already done his homework. So hopefully we'll be seeing that.
He would have done
but Komelante, I must also say, if I know Ramat Park very well, most of the people around there are peasant traders. So as they begin to dislodge them, what plans does the government have to at least keep them going by means of livelihood and all that stuff? Those are important stuff, because when men and material moving, vehicular travel will be impacted. So there should be plans for that. Those that do small selling around, they will have impact as well. Hope the governor and the government have put that into consideration.
I honestly think that these are the areas now that those people need to engage the government on. You understand what I'm saying now? Because people should be relocated. If people cannot be dislodged and just be allowed to, wander. There will be provisions for people to be, effectively relocated and all of that. So I think all of those plans will be, if those plans are not in place, they are going to create a problem. And if we observe that those problems are there, we will surely talk about those things. I think that government should look into all of that. While we applaud this, we hope that every other thing is going, pari passu smoothly.
Absolutely. One of the selling points for the governor was that he's very humane. So let us hope and pray that his humaneness will come to be in all these projects. Friends, ladies and gentlemen, we have been looking at the governor of Edo State, who was inaugurated November 12th, looking at his action and inaction and what he has done to kickstart his government. He did promise that he's going to really look at the administration of Governor Godwin Obaseki with a view to seeing what was done wrong and if there's been any misappropriation and financial misappropriation, because it is also very, very crystal clear that Governor Godwin Obaseki operated with consultancy. And so many people in government say that consultancy was clouded in some form of opaqueness. So, a new probe committee has been announced. Comrade, if we have that, can we put it up while we talk about that? But many people are worried. I looked at the list. I was a bit worried as well. I think the list is baited with old former politicians, some who served in the first term of Governor Godwin Obaseki, some were also very important in the second term. They are all part of this pro panel. So some people are worried. Some have even written to us to say that would this be a form of witch hunting? Just to put my own view there, I would have thought that somebody very neutral who will look at the activity of the last administration dispassionately would have been men and ladies that would have been in this committee. But the committee is before us, Comrade Lamte. Looking at those names, they are not new at all to Edo State political landscape. I can see Dr. Ernest Afolabi marking here. He's the chairman of the committee and he was an aspirant to be governor of the state. Could that be a compensatory mechanism? But if they are going to probe, what form of compensation would that be? I don't see. And then you have Aslem Ujezwa, former chairman of APC, and moved to PDP with all the nuances and all. And of course, he himself wanted to run for governor, fell out with the governor. He is the deputy chairman of that pro panel. We have the ever ferocious Prince Kazim Afegboa, who is not a friend at all of the old administration of Governor Godwin Obaseki. Honorable Patrick Ikariale is there. Mr. Taiwo Akerele, who resigned shockingly from the government of Governor Godwin Obaseki. He was I think it was I've forgotten his positions now. I think it was chief of staff.
He was chief of staff to the
governor. Is part of that. Patrick Idiake is member. Honorable Razak Bello Saigi, who has been a foremost legislator, is still there. You have Frederick Unukba, Frank Osamudiame Edebo as secretary, Abdullah Eugenia as member, Patrick Obayagbon again as a member of that pro panel, and then pharmacist Kenny Okoje and Lindsay Tesoae and others there. Looking at that list, Comrade, to me, it looks more like the enemies in some sense of Governor Godwin Obaseki. Do you think they will do a good job? And some people are also asking, they would have thought that Senator Monday Okpebholo would just focus on governance and don't start this probe and this attack very quickly. But if it's for the betterment of Edo State, why not? If the people are going to do what they're supposed to do, why not? But what's your reaction?
Okay. First and foremost, I probably disagree with opinions that may say that the governor should not do this at this time. I think that the governor can set his own agenda for himself. What he wants to do first, second, third, fourth, and all of that. Provided the things he said he wants to do, he does them. I think that's very important. I also think that every administration that have served in government should be probed by the incoming government. I think it is the right thing to do to create, some sort of orderliness, and to also, create that feeling that there should be some deterrent, more or less, that you will not just govern, as a governor of a state or president of a nation or chairman of a local government and go after your tenure. If after the probe, okay, you are seen to have done well, the people's resources are not missing. You understand what I'm saying? Your accountability is clear and it's top notch. I think you should be given an award by the government that has probed you. But if there are discrepancies, you should come and answer, because the money that you have dispensed, they are not your money. They are people's patrimony. They are taxpayers' money. So, which means that it is
some are even borrowed money.
Some are even borrowed in the name
most of them.
You understand what I'm saying now? In the name of the people. So it is the right thing to do. And I don't think that the governor needs to wait 1 year to administration to do that. I thought that Obaseki was going to do this to Shomole. You understand what I'm saying now? He promised. It was part of his electionary campaign promise that we campaigned with in the second term. But he didn't do it. And why he didn't do it, we don't know. Now, what's his name? Okpebholo said he was going to do this. He's doing this. I think it's the right step in the right direction. However, there's a snag to it. I find it, very, very difficult to accommodate this list like you observed. I think that based on this list and some other things that I have seen from the Okpebholo's government, they appear to be very clear, message of vindictiveness. And I think that if that is the case, it shouldn't be. I will not advise Okpebholo to govern with any act of vindictiveness or to be pushed to want to take Obaseki to the cleaners by all means. I think that I would have expected that this list should be made up of people who have no conflict of interest in this matter. Joshua clearly has a conflict of interest in this matter. He lost out in the process, whether rightly or wrongly. He's not at peace with Governor Obaseki, and he is part of a committee like this. It is looking like a committee set up with a predetermined resolution. But they already know what is going to happen. Let us follow this formality. We already know what we want to do. If that is the case, that again will be missing the point. I really want Obaseki to be probed, but the probe should be transparent and should follow all the necessary processes that to follow duly. We need to know and recover where all the monies is spent, all the what's it called, internally generated revenue he raised, how they were spent. How come we are now owing, according to official report from his own government, we are now owing nearly 500 billion. I know that other reports have said that we are owing over 600 billion. But government has said the debt they're handing over to Okpebholo is about 400 and something billion. How did we arrive at this? How much are we paying in salaries and allowances of civil servants? You know what I'm saying now? How much has he spent on this? And so there should be transparency in this process. And I thought that the people who should best do this are people who should not have any conflict of interest in the matter at all. They should just have been people that were just drawn from, other parts that are not even in government at all. So if I would even be pleased that some other names of Nigerians who are not from Edo State are mentioned in this list to be part of this committee to do a holistic, review of what Obaseki's government was and how they spent Edo State money. That way, when the report comes out, okay, people will be confident that, okay, yes, this is probably as close to it as it should be. But I can tell you that the report that will come out of this committee is already doubtful, because there is no way I expect Ojezua to give a report that is favorable to Governor Obaseki. And Ojezua served in that government. Some of these guys have served with Governor Obaseki. So whatever report they are going to bring out now, they were part of some of those issues that are in those reports. And I can tell you that it will not be favorable to Obaseki.
But Komelamte, let me stop you there. If you look at it from the other side, could it be logical because they know what has gone through? Is there any logic in there?
There's no logic in it. Because when people talk of independent audits, when independent audit comes, for instance, the word independent is there because these are people who have no direct stake inside the matter. They don't need to know who did what, but they just want to review all the documents. They're available, isn't it? You are building Radisson Blue Hotel for Edo State. You have announced that Edo State has a stake in it. Where are the enabling documents? How much of Edo State money have we spent, okay, in building Radisson Blue Hotel. You understand the picture of what I'm saying now? I mean, the documents are there. So these guys are going to work with documents, talk to the people who were responsible for every department that they want to go into. So they must not know or be part of this or part of that. If you are part of it, why must you not be the one to prove? You can't be a judge in your own court. You should be the one responding to questions. I rather would see someone like Ojezwa being a witness rather than being the one probing Obaseki. You understand what I'm saying now? Because of what we know between Obaseki and what's the Philip Schreiber, what happens to Philip Schreiber? If you are probing Obaseki, is Philip Schreiber going to go scot-free? As far as I'm concerned, until about 6 months to the end of the administration, Philip Schreiber was firmly part of the government. So what happens to his own office? You understand the picture of what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, this must be a collective responsibility. Obaseki, Philip Schreiber, Ogi, all of them. Because there are people there who are in different departments. So I thought that this committee should have been made up of people who are really independent, who have no stake, who would come and look at all of these documents and point out to us areas where Obaseki can be held culpable. But with these ones that they have just done right now, with all due respect, it looks like a charade with a predetermined outcome. And that is not looking right. It's not looking good. In as much as I'm critical of Obaseki, you understand, I would expect that, let's do it rightly. If not for anything, but for the sake of posterity. That's my only snap. Otherwise, it is the right step in the right direction, except that the content of it leaves a lot to be questioned.
Thank you, Comrade Lamte. It does, and indeed, it leaves a lot to be questioned. I would also say that even these committee members, in my view, they should be key witnesses to the committee. They are supposed to give reports of their own stewardship to the committee, not they themselves being part of the committee. But let's see what comes out of it. Maybe the government will hack into it and also change course. And it's the season of appointment. Even pro panel is also seen as an appointment. I'm in a WhatsApp group where some people are even happy that their names were mentioned and they are saying that their local government was represented. Our country and indeed our state has fallen to that level. Like you said before, you don't mind if everybody comes from Okpebholo's house, so long as by the time they are in office and when they leave, Edo State is the better for it. But that's the situation we find ourselves. Ladies and gentlemen, friends and viewers of the Comrade Show, we are gradually coming to the end of the program. It is looking at Senator Monday Okpebholo's nearly 2 weeks in office and what has happened to Edo State. Comrade Lamte, just something else. This is not on cue, but I just want us to talk about it. I was discussing with a friend. In fact, one of the chairmen of the local government in the last local government election conducted just a little over a year ago. And we are discussing, and I remember asking him what will be the situation if the new governor comes in and dissolve the chairman that were elected over a year ago. And we agree, even on this program, that election was far below par. But Senator Monday Okpebholo has not done anything to that effect. They were duly elected, whether wrongly or rightly, whether selected or elected, as the case may be. But I think it's a good step. I would not want him to toe that line. Even though I wasn't happy with the outcome of the elections, I think he should allow those elected chairmen run their course. What's your take on it as we wrap up?
Okay. First and foremost, I don't want to express a personal opinion or a personal feeling. I think that the question I ask myself is, does the governor have a right to dissolve the local government? I don't know if it does by the constitution. You understand what I'm saying now?
I don't think it does. I don't think it has the right. But you have mentioned on many occasions, our country is a magic.
I know, and I just want to leave the magic aspect of it out now, okay? Because if the governor is not constitutionally empowered to do that, I honestly don't think it should be a debate. let the people serve their time. Of course, I've argued time and again that Obaseki destroyed democracy at the local government level with this selection of this current local government chairman. You understand? Selection. That is why he has no sympathy from the likes of myself over what happened at the governorship election. You understand the picture of what I'm saying now? But I actually don't think that Okpebholo, I stand to be corrected, has a right, because he's been elected governor to dissolve local government. As a matter of fact, with the last judgment by the Supreme Court, I think local government right now are now being, highly empowered to be independent. I believe that if the National Assembly follow up to grant proper autonomy to local government, now Supreme Court has agreed that they must have financial autonomy. By the time political autonomy joins, this discourse will not be necessary. When you are elected, you are elected as the governor is elected. He has no right, just like the president of Nigeria would have no right to say, I dismiss a state governor. You know what I'm saying now? Because it is the same power of law that brought the president to be, that brought the governor, the same that brought the local government a chairman to be. So I don't think he has a right to do that. They must serve their time, and that is what the discussion should be around. That said, sir, I just want to make a quick observation. One of the first things that Governor Okpebholo did was to set up a panel to look into the 14 legislators of Ushomole that were not sworn in by Obaseki, to look into and review that matter. When I saw that, it was a direct script that, we don't need to go far to interpret the handwriting on the wall. That seemed to me to be a direct script by former Governor Shomole to Okpebholo. And I think that, making it Edo State government affair, under Edo State government, to set up a panel to look into that which happened 3-4 years ago, is a huge distraction to his government. I really think so. I think that they can do whatever they want to do at that level, at their own party level, not at the state level. Okpebholo must understand that he's governor of Edo State, and he must distinguish between acting as a party member and acting as the governor of Edo State. I honestly am not pleased with that they are going to use taxpayers' money to fund a committee to review by the time they review whatever they want to review and make recommendations, how does that recommendation now become a matter for Edo State? I think that they should downgrade that committee activity into their party affairs. Let it be APC party affair, not a Edo State party affair. Because at the end of the day, you are not going to come up with any resolution right now and say you want to swear those guys in right now to become the current House of Assembly members. Events of politics and law have overtaken that particular matter. So if they are doing any review, to probably consider that, okay, maybe those guys will have the right of first refusal in the next House of Assembly election under the APC political party in Edo State, then that would make sense. But to make it an Edo State matter with a multi-party system, I think that is so that the man does not begin to do some things, right things under the wrong terms. I just want to put that observation there because I know that they'll hear this.
Yeah, thank you so much, Komilamte. I think that was very, very important. Senator Governor Monday Okpebholo has taken a big plus from us today. So it's also good to mention the many lows. I think that indeed, like I will support you, it's a low. It should be at the party level, and whatever the party comes out, it should be good, because that will be another form of money spent again on a committee that has to do with party issues. But it's okay. A government will make mistakes. The ability to ride on the mistake to do some good things out of it is very important. But I must say that in nearly 2 weeks of Governor Monday Okpebholo and his deputy, and Dennis Idahosa, has brought a bit of fresh air, a bit of change, and a bit of dynamism to Edo State. Well, Komelante, this is not on cue. It just came to my mind. We have to mention it. Prior to the elections, we had series of meetings with this would-be aspirant, and one has eventually emerged as a governor. We represent the Diaspora constituency, and then in the last administration of Governor Obaseki, we did clamor for a Diaspora commission, and this governor also promised. Although there was boju by Governor Godwin Obaseki, I hope this governor will not play boju. We want to see the Diaspora commission constituted and the Director General appointed sooner rather than later. What's your take on this? Because you are a strong advocate of the Diaspora Commission, because you know lots of Edo State people are in the diaspora, and many indeed want to go back to make some contributions. Just a one line as we round up today's program.
Honestly, I think that we must understand that the Edo State diaspora demography is a very important demography when it comes to Edo State matters. And it's one of my grasp of Governor Obaseki, a very big grasp was that, particularly when he promised, use the people to lay the structure for the diaspora agency. Pro bono. You understand? At the end of the day, played, like you said, bojo with the people, called for interviews, people submitted, applications and every other thing, did interviews, wasted people's time, and stayed the next 3 years, dribbling everybody without necessarily activating, the diaspora agency, which enabling law has been passed by the House of Assembly. It's one of the lowest ends of Obaseki's government. I expect that, what's his name? I expect Okpebholo to correct the wrong by ensuring that the Edo State Diaspora Agency, is alive and working. And we must understand that the Edo State Diaspora Agency is a part of Edo State government. It's part of the structure of the Edo State government, which life must run concurrently with governance in Edo State and give protection to Edo State people in the diaspora, serve the interests of Edo State people in the diaspora, and create that useful bridge between the diaspora demography and Edo State government and the people of Edo State. That way, it's a low-hanging fruit that we cannot speak too much English about. Edo State would benefit humongously from that arrangement. I expect Okpebholo in no time, to make a pronouncement on that. As he's making his appointment right now, that equally should be part of the matters that should be on the front burner. Let us have a diaspora agency, that will run, concurrently pari passu with the government of Edo State, so that Edo State people, home and abroad, we have clear agenda. You understand, for the growth and development of Edo State. It's very important.
Thank you so much, Komelamte. Especially more important that even at the National Assembly, they are talking about diaspora voting. I think if every state had an agency abroad, that would also serve as a focal point to have a collective data of their state citizens living abroad, and that would also help to ease voting. We hope and pray that Senator Monday Okpebholo, governor of Edo State, would akin to that call and do the needful. No more boju. It should be done even as soon as yesterday. Komelamte, thank you so much for giving your time today and for having a very robust discussion on the nearly 2 weeks of our governor, Senator Monday Okpebholo. I was going to ask you this, but I will just say it now. I know when you talked about the local government elections, you also said that the governor has got no right. I want to tell you, in the magic of Edo State and the magic of politics in Nigeria, if you have a word you can say, I want to promise you, in fact, I can take a bet. 6 months after Senator Okpebholo's government, if he is not removed by the court, I can promise you, right on Comrade Show, that the 18 local government chairmen will move from their current party to APC. Am I lying?
Oh no, of course, that is expected. It's that's where our democracy is. There is demo in the matter. The crazy in it is not yet part of it. We are still at the demo level, and so which everybody can demonstrate to anywhere. Cross party, move party, and every other thing. So we expect that to happen. It's as a matter of fact, they may not have made. I think one local government have already moved to APC. They move everything to APC, one local government. So even those that have not made any pronouncement, they are probably done a secret allegiance and all of that. That's what the policy is about, and it's shameful. There's no ideology. It's almost they're all one and the same. And all of that. For those that may not be moving now, some of them are still hopeful that Asue will be declared the governor of Edo State in 6 months, and so some are still, left. They become agadas. One leg here, one leg there. You understand? They don't know where the pendulum is going to swing in a few months and all of that. So we could understand all of that. So because at the end of the day, a lot of what you see is driven by personal hunger. People are just
transactional
exactly.
politics.
It's just transactional policy people are playing and all of that. So it's what has characterized the system. Which is why when you talked about Samson Osagie earlier, I was not very enthused. Osagie has spent all his life, or rather, the last 20 years of his life or more, in the corridors
Comandante, we haven't got time. We haven't got time now.
It's all right, my brother.
Thank you so much for being for all your contributions today, ladies and gentlemen, friends and viewers of the Comrade Show. Want to say that we've been looking at the governor that was inaugurated on the 12th of November, and his many activities, appointments, non-appointment, actions and inactions, and how a new dawn is setting in Edo State. I would say that the 12 days, nearly 2 weeks of Governor Senator Monday Okpebholo has witnessed a change. But indeed, only time will tell. I think he has started well. I'll begin to see. Whatever he has done well, we'll say. Whatever he has done bad, we'll also say. All we strive is for Edo State to be better, so that yesterday will not be better than tomorrow. That tomorrow will be better than yesterday, and we'll continue to move on in that good order. Thank you so much for being part of the Comrade Show. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us. Do not adjust that button. Continue to do good. Continue to do good and do well. Remember, all of us have a collective responsibility to make our place of work, our family, our household, our community, our state, and indeed our country a great one. Until we come your way again next time, please stay out of trouble. And for all Edo citizens, please shun courtism. The infighting is not necessary. A better Edo State is all we claim for. Thank you so much and have a good week.
This is the Commercial Show.